Right.
So
and barely a bench player the other 6 years.
Anyway, back to Gung. So
yeah.
Gung's back. I guess depending on how we feel on how he should have been signed or the option should have been picked up or not picked up. I'm actually kind of surprised. Once they declined the option and I heard that there was a deal done, like that they did re-sign him, I was a little surprised that it was $3 million. Like I think I tweeted out I thought it was going to be somewhere between like 1 and 2.5 million. And then to find out it's 3 and then the incentives that can get the 5.5, it's like, okay. It's like, just why don't you just pick it up? It's like,
I think that's where I'm at with you too. I guess, I mean, it's not like this is the biggest news in the world per se, but it is surprising that like it was $3 million.
It's the only
for the fact
news
that we said before. Like you're doing this just to save $2.25 million. Like you would imagine it would be a $1 million deal or a minor league deal with all incentives, But it was 3. It was closer to the 5.5 than it was nothing at all. So, like you said, why not just pick it up?
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, that's why I just go back. Like there had to be something in place.
Cheap.
It's just why did it wait to do it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So,
but let's talk about him like production wise.
Yeah,
I mean, Jung Ho is back. What are you expecting from him this year?
Well, look, they signed him for $3 million. I mean, he's making more money than Colin Moran is at this point. Now, Moran's, controllable. He's younger, obviously. But I think they're going to give Gung a pretty good shot to get at bats. I mean,
But then they'll have to pay him.
Well, they're already paying him $3 million, 3.25. So I think he's going to get a shot. It might be slow at first, kind of throw him in, kind of like the first year we had him, when we signed him in, what the heck year was that, 2015?
15.
Mm-hmm. It was real slow going. Like he wasn't the opening day starter. He wasn't getting, typical kind of hurdle style, like wasn't getting the starts consistently through April and May. And then he
was basically just a bench bat.
Yeah. And then as you started seeing like him play a little more and the power come on, then it was like you started seeing more starts come. So I think we're going to kind of start out like the same kind of trend that way. Like here, you'll get a couple at bats, like pinch hits. You'll get a couple starts throughout a week, but until they, I think, continuously see maybe that power. I mean, obviously the power is going to be key. Until they see that, I don't think you're going to see him like, playing over Moran every day, like 5 times out of a week. And that's just the way I figure it. Now, if he starts, let's say he comes in April and he gets, 20, 30, 40 at-bats and he like is lighting it up, then you might start seeing him start playing exclusively over Moran, because they've basically said, now I know they said that he's not like starting at short. They basically said he's not playing shortstop at all, right?
No, he is not at all.
Okay.
That ship has sailed.
So, like, do you try him at second? Like, let's say Moran starts the season and he's killing the ball. Like, and Gung's doing well too. Like, where else can Gung play? Is he playing the outfield? That's essentially, that's the problem you're going to have. I mean, it's not a problem, but it is. Like, let's say Moran and Gung are both hitting. Like, you can't really play Gung anywhere else at this point if you're not playing him at shortstop.
I don't know. I think that's just a problem that we'll have to wait to see if we can have that problem, and things will just sort itself out. I mean, can he play second? I don't know. I don't know,
Right.
I hope I would rather, well, I think that goes down to like if we sign him, like what if we get Brian Dozier? Just saying, like what if we get a second baseman? The thing is though, that's a good problem to have. Like if your problem is you have a guy that's playing well and you can't find a way to get him in the lineup, that's a good problem to have, So I'm not too worried about that. Let's hope we get there, you know what I mean? But I'm with you on the fact that I think that's exactly what they're going to do as well. I don't think this team is committed at all in Colin Moran. They're looking at him as like a stopgap till Hayes comes, which really could be a year from now.
Right.
And this really could be that make or break year, and also why Gung is so important this year. That they're going to give Moran, in my mind, the opportunity to start the year off and have Gung, maybe the platoon, like maybe the left-handed pitching, Gung's in there, right? But they give Moran the greater at-bats with that platoon. Go show me what you got. And if you don't, and Gung's taken off, this is Gung's third base now, which is what happened in 2015, like you said. Like that's how I'm seeing this. They're going to give Gung the opportunities. They're going to give him, some plate appearances and such, but they know the game changer he can be. Now, it's been 2 years since he's played. So no one, well, I should say no one, we live in Pittsburgh, but nobody reasonable is just saying Gung's coming back and putting up 30 home runs and being that, force that we know he could be. The thing is that he has that potential. You don't know what Moran has. And what he's shown so far is meh, that's what he's shown so far. So they'll give him the opportunity, because if he can be, then, that you look in the future, then you have another problem with Moran and Hayes. So one becomes a trade chip or such. But like for this year, you want Gung. I do. I want Gung because I know he has the higher ceiling to just take off, and I'm cool with it. But they're going to give Moran the opportunities at first.
Yeah, and you mentioned about left-handers. Moran's definitely not getting a start against a left-hander.
No.
As long as Gung is available and healthy and everything. Like, we've already seen that, pretty much through this past year. So, yeah, I don't think Moran's going to see too many starts against lefties. So you pretty much have definitely like a platoon over there, and then maybe you play like Gung's still going to get his at-bats against right-handers, I think. And so maybe just you kind of play,
find ways.
Play them both.
I wouldn't be surprised if
the hot hand.
He or Moran, I would most likely assume Moran plays maybe a little bit of first to spell, Bell at those times. So you might have a lineup with Moran and Gung in there.
And doesn't Moran, like the beard, his stature, his speed, doesn't he just sound like a first baseman?
Adam LaRoche.
Right. He even kind of looks like Adam LaRoche,
right
in the face.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like he's, you expect a third baseman to be a bit athletic, and when you look at Colin Moran, you don't think about athleticism.
No, like he just looks the part for a first baseman. So right. I don't know if he can play it, but we might be finding out.
I'm sure he could. I'm sure he can. Because I don't know when he's played first. I just don't know when and how often now.
Because
there's that research.
It's kind of It's kind of bizarre that, like, we're going to go into 2019 season with like two exclusively almost third basemen on the roster. Like it's weird, You don't normally see that from a team. Now, like you said, Moran can play some other positions. He has before, and we'll see if they put him at first or whatever.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't much. In 2017, he did play a lot of it though. So he played it in 2016. 12 innings, 2017 for AAA, 131 innings. And then the Astros, Major League, he played 10 innings. So, he has some first base experience in 2017. So, somewhat recent. I think he can play it too. I feel like, it's first base, Right. But then you look at guys like Pedro Alvarez and Josh Bell, like, oh, yeah. It's more than just first base.
Pedro could play first. Just put him over there. It's like,
right.
What's the
but with that being said, Gung has never played first, so I assume it's going to be Moran.
The line from Moneyball. It's easy to play. First base is easy. It's incredibly hard to play first base. So we'll see. But I don't know. Like I feel like with Polanco down, I feel like Gung in the outfield could happen. I don't know.
So, Colin Dunlap said that.
Oh, Jesus. Never mind. I retract what I said.
Well, no. But here's the thing. So, of course, a lot of people got on him. And I'll say this, too. Obviously, if you are with a fan and you have fan haters, like no matter what you say, people are going to hate it. He said that, and at first I'm like, I don't know. And the fact, like, the reason I was thinking that is they don't want to play him at short. And they want to play him at short because of his knee and such. So it's like, but then in the outfield, you have Strain out there, but I guess right field isn't as strenuous. I could maybe see that. Maybe they do tinker with that because that could be your answer, as you're saying with Moran, right? So what if Gung, spring training, he's looking good. They're tinkering with some, in right field, and it's like now you have an outfield of Marte, Dickerson, and Gung, and you have Moran and Bell in there, and whoever your middle infield is. Like maybe that is something they tinker with. I'm not totally opposed to it.
I was trying to look. Here's some more research we're not doing. I was trying to look back to see if Kang had played any other positions in Korea, but Baseball Reference doesn't let you look that up. It just has his stats. So,
and I'm pretty sure he was just a shortstop.
Yeah, because I'm looking. Through the minors, it was third base and shortstop, and one game at DH for Bradenton, and that was it. So yeah, but it doesn't have the KBO fielding down. But like you said, probably shortstop, third base. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, when you think like Lakely platoons, you kind of think first base, or you don't really think third base. So like somebody's gonna have to play somewhere else. Like at least sparingly, obviously, not like starting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, someone's gonna have to. Just two third basemen just is kind of weird. So,
well, hopefully we make it one third baseman, and one of them really takes off.
That's right. 50 home runs for
that's
Kang.
it. And what if one becomes a trade chip? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if they're sold on Hayes,
especially Hayes, yeah, you're right.
What if Kang's having a fantastic season, and it's Colin Moran that turns into that trade chip at the deadline? It's not a bad issue to have. He's still young. You can still get something from even with the production he's giving. He's still an everyday player for a team out there.
Are you surprised? Not to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
Are you surprised with this deal, the 1 year, $3 million, that it wasn't like they didn't go for like a 2-year deal, or make it a 1 year, maybe even cheaper? Make it a 1 year with an option, like a team option.
Kind of, but maybe that was on like Kang's side of the negotiations. Like, no, like this is my prove. Because if I have an option and you pick it up, it's probably because I did well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And now I'm a year older, and then hitting free agency the next year. I want to. If I do well, I want to get paid.
So this is his like prove it year, basically. Like, I'm back.
Right. I mean, that was part of it. It's like that's why they ripped it up. Sign me to a 1 year. I'll do right. By you guys. You stuck with me. I'll do right by you. I'll sign this $3 million incentives, and let me go. And if I hit and I do well, then I can get paid the next year. And if not, well then, it is what it is. But
yeah, that makes sense.
And that too, like the window there is there. Like they still have Moran. Hayes is like the future. He could potentially slide in next year. So it somewhat makes sense. It's going to be this year of which one's going to play third base, who can take off. If at worst, then it's platoon, and we got Kang on the better side of it.
That's for sure.
Well, I should say not the better side, but I mean we know Colin Moran can hit lefty, so we got someone who potentially really could. So
right.
If it ends up being a platoon, it could also be a pretty solid platoon.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I thought that was. I thought when they were going to rediscuss it, maybe a 2-year deal or something small, but it makes sense for Kang. I mean, you're right.
Yeah. If it takes getting him in here for 1 year, then no years, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'll take the 1 year and that chance. Then F it up by, only having an option attached to it.
Right.
Anyways, we've talked too much about that.
I know. I feel like the past 3 years, I mean, Kang hasn't been here, since for 2 years, but it's like we've talked so much Kang, and it's just like in this offseason already, it's been Jung Ho Kang, and it's like, it's crazy for a player that's done, I wouldn't say so little, because he did have, 2 pretty good years when he was here, but it's like,
right. In the times that we've talked about him,
yeah.
We've been talking about him for 2 years, and he's done nothing in 2 years. He's had like 6 plate appearances in 2 years, and we've been talking about him for so much.
I know.
The recent talks is because we just feel like it's over, and when you feel like it's over, he's back.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been a roller coaster.
He definitely has a game-changing talent.
Hopefully it's still there.
Yeah, that's all you can do is hope.
All right, so let's shift here, DiNardo, to to be talking a lot of trade rumors and things that come up in the off season, but apparently, we heard the news that the Cubs are going to shop Chris Bryant, or at least they're willing to trade Chris Bryant, for the right deal and all that stuff. So we heard that report, and now we're hearing like other teams come out like that are basically talking about blowing it up, or they're going to sell and this and that. And the Seattle Mariners have come out and basically they're talking about blowing it up, or maybe not blowing it up, but changing some things up.
Reimagining the roster.
Reimagining. Because,
By
Dipoto.
Jerry Dipoto.
Dipoto just loves to make trades